Hi everyone, so this is a psychic reading on, I'm going to try and pronounce this correctly, Matías De Stefano. I probably said it wrong. Um, I've been trying to do blind target readings where I don't really know the person, but unfortunately, I have a list of things I'm trying to get through, so I'm trying to get through it. I do know who this is, though, so it's not an entirely blind target. But anyways, I'm just gonna read what I wrote. I did this reading like a couple weeks ago, so I'm just gonna go through what I wrote down. So I wrote down palm trees. Um, that was just the first thing that was coming up. I don't know if he lives around the ocean or something like that, but that just seems to be a theme showing up palm trees, wearing blue jeans in a casual way, but in a nice, mellow, slightly higher class lifestyle than normal. And again, this, just kind of describes things symbolically. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's literally going to be wearing blue jeans all the time, but you know what I mean. Just kind of like that casual kind of lifestyle, but with a slight high class twist to it. He is enjoying the calm, cool, sunny vibes. Again, maybe he lives near the beach, I'm not sure. I see him with fancy cars and living the high life. This doesn't mean that he necessarily owns fancy cars, but symbolically, I was saying fancy cars. He is not too far gone, though, in the sense that he's not like super rich and kind of irrelevant to the working class. There's a sense of humbleness to it all. He reminds me of a lizard hanging out on a rock, soaking up the sun with sunglasses on. And this is not to say that he is like a lizard. He is nothing like a lizard. But that's kind of just his vibe of kind of what he does. He just likes to soak up the sun and really soak up the atmosphere and enjoy the environment. He is enjoying the high life, and I don't mean like being high. I just mean like the elevated um, lifestyle. Maybe somewhere like California near the beach. This is just like the general vibe. I have no idea where he actually lives. He is a free spirit and has a super cool attitude with an ability to express himself very freely. He seems like the type of person to start doing some funky dance that is almost magical looking, like out while outdoors enjoying the sunny ocean vibes. There is somewhat almost sorcerer like behavior to him. He has no constraints and can manifest freely. He is like a poet. It is as if he created his reality and lives in a separate reality than everyone else without the borders that others follow. And then I just wrote the word free. He is not worried about if what he says is accurate or not, because it is simply an expression of himself, and as is everything, and he doesn't feel the need to explain himself to others. This isn't to say that he's like not factual. This is just to say that he's not caught up in the game of, you know, proving himself. It is his reality, and he sees it how he does. So he doesn't really care if other people see it his way or not. There's a poetic expression to his views on reality. He may see things from a bigger picture than others and may read the energy rather than explain the situation. So, on some level, he may be reading how I read, more symbolically, and it may be kind of more symbolic than literal. And again, this is kind of related to his teachings. What I know of him is that he is on Gaia TV and talks about, he's in a show called Initiation, and he talks about New Age concepts, to put it simply. Um, and he claims to have past lives, that he remembers information about living in Egypt and information about extraterrestrial beings and things of that nature. Very much so from a spiritual perspective. So I continue here with what I wrote. So some of what he says might not make sense to people, and he isn't interested in their views because he sees it as lower than his magic, or less important than, just doing his magic, doing his thing. Like a sorcerer, he tunes into things, and it is as if the whole world responds, and he may hear the answers coming from the seashells or whatever it may be. Like, in other words, he kind of receives answers from the universe or just wherever. Like, maybe he asks the universe a question and somebody walks down the street and is talking randomly and has a word that stands out to him and it kind of means something to him. Like that sort of thing. He doesn't care if the human world becomes part of his synchronistic answer from the universe, and doesn't think in rational terms that would explain away many of these coincidences. He sees the universe as magic, and he is in communication with everything all the time like a sorcerer. Some may say he is mad, and others may say he is a sorcerer. I do see him being very much in tune with things. He may take symbols to confirm something that may be very generalized and not worry about looking at the details. So there could be some generalizing of conclusions. However, he is able to see things that others wouldn't with this technique. I don't see him being completely full of it, but I do see some eccentric, playful ways of being that may just be his particular expression rather than necessarily the ultimate truth, just his expression of the ultimate truth. And this can be sometimes confused with the absolute ultimate truth versus a poetic expression of the truth. The lines of art and math blur in his mind to some degree. He finds meaning and synchronicity and an inner knowing. He may ride with ideas that could be a little different than what he believes. But there is always truth in what he is saying. So he may kind of like ride the wave, so to speak, of, a concept or whatever, even if it's not necessarily the exact details, but just as a way to kind of get a message across. He does seem to have true past life memories that he leans upon for information, so that claim, I do get that there is truth to it about him getting information from past lives. Regarding past lives, I sense that he is tapping into something, and I cannot say if the details are exactly correct or not, but the gist of it is. And to say that I can't say doesn't mean that it isn't accurate. It just means that I'm not 100% sure. Some of the intricate details may be more metaphorical in nature than to describe the exact teachings from the past, but I cannot say that for sure either. There does seem to be some generalizing, but all based in authenticity. He definitely believes himself and is not lying. Things may be somewhat slightly different from what he says in some situations, but nothing to be alarmed about. Math is art to him, and if you take his teachings in vain, if you take math is art to him, and if you take his teachings in that vein or in that understanding, then all the better, because you're not getting caught up in the details. In other words, that's kind of the best way of learning from his teachings. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, you can always give it a thumbs up. I appreciate that. Leave a comment. Let me know what you know about, if I get the name right, Matías De Stefano. I know a little bit about him, but not too much. So we'll see what you guys have to say about this. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.